Sean Phillips Jr. jump center against Floyd Badunga, and Kansas in the home whites control the tip. Here's Darren Peterson, freshman from Canton, Ohio. He's only played in a couple of games and has given Kansas better than 21 points per game.
I sense he's going to let the game come to him and not force a lot.
This is a Kansas offense which really struggled in the midweek loss to UConn. Lost at home 61-56. Shot clock at 3. Peterson gives it up. Trey White for a triple. That's short. And an offensive rebound tracked down by Melvin Council.
Council's averaged about 14 points a game in his last 5. Other than Peterson, he's got to be a guy that gets downhill.
Peterson with a drive and dish gets it back with 10. He's drawn a lot of attention. Into the corner for 3. And another miss from deep. Mark Mitchell, Kansas City native, brings it down from Missouri. Tigers coming off of a midweek loss to Notre Dame, led by 7 at the half in South Bend, gave it away late. 8-1 on the season. Only 2 Power 4 opponents. They blew out Minnesota at home and then lost on the road against the Fighting Irish.
This is the guy you got to worry about if you're Kansas, Mark Mitchell, because he is a whirling dervish downhill.
Finds Honor Boateng for 3. Both teams cold to start through one possession and combined 0 for 3.
And I think Kansas has to play through Badunga and Tiller inside, along with DP's ability to score really anywhere on the court. Darren Peterson, that is.
Peterson guarded by Boateng, and a late switch. Peterson was left open for a moment. Another late shot clock situation for the Jayhawks. Peterson never mind, he throws it in from deep. But his fan base has been anxious, to say it nicely, to get him back on the court.
Yeah, I'd say it. I'd say they've been concerned about seeing their star player back on the court, and it's understandable. He's so talented.
Mitchell with the drive, step through, and that's rejected by Badunga. Right out for Council. And the building alive early on this Sunday afternoon.
You play in a game like this, 2 defensive-oriented teams, and you have to get some easy baskets. Badunga's block shot got it started.
Down low for Phillips, and he draws the whistle.
You sense that Darren Peterson is just kind of getting his feet wet in these opening minutes, but this is something that's become a common sight, that long-range jumper. And then watch the block that reads to the run out. You know, I was at practice, Tom, in September, and Peterson made 8 straight threes in a scrimmage, and Bill Self looked over at me and said, he does this every day. And then the 24 points in the Louisville exhibition game in the first half was also breathtaking. So nobody's happier to see this guy back on the court than that gentleman right there.
It's been a subject of great consternation throughout the Sunflower State and in the facility. Sean Phillips Jr. at the free throw line goes 1 for 2. And Trey White, transferred in from Illinois after a couple of other stops, brings down the rebound. Here's Peterson. He is comfortable bringing it up in the open court with either hand, Fran. He is a pro in a freshman's body.
He's an incredible talent.
Short on that 3, rebounded by Phillips. And now Mark Mitchell, who started his career at Duke. He's local product out of Bishop Miege before going to Sunrise Christian. 2 seasons at Duke. And played a key role in Missouri's upset against #1 Kansas in Columbia last year. Curry's 3 is short. Slow start for Missouri's offense, combined 0 for 3. Mitchell guarding Peterson now.
I thought in that Connecticut game, down the stretch, nobody looked to score. Say, year 4, Tommy, what a job this guy's done, huh? That second year was a little bit rough.
Back to the tournament last year. He was talking this week to the media, reinforces to us before the game. He said, Norm Stewart told me you're not the coach of Missouri until you get a win against Kansas. And that happened last year in the upset win at Mizzou Arena. Well, Mike's got another one coming.
Yeah, this is a good time to say, hey, Coach Stewart, hope you're doing well. back home in Columbia. One of the great coaches and people in this business, especially in this part of the country. And Tommy, you and I both know the Big Eight in its day was just incredible basketball. Norm Stewart, Roy Williams, Billy Tubbs, Eddie Sutton.
Just the start of it. Here's Robinson. Missouri left the Big 12 in 2012. There were some knockdown drag-out meetings at both campus sites that season. And Missouri won the conference tournament right here on this floor before departing for the SEC. Mizzou 0 for 4 to start this game. What makes Peterson tick on the offensive end?
What makes him tick is there's nothing on offensively that he can't do. Pass, shoot, score 3 levels. He's just a marvelous talent.
Let his teammates play that in that time. Robinson with the drive and got a bump on his way in. It'll be Bryson Tiller picking up his first. A cold start to this one for the Missouri Tigers. Kansas has Darren Peterson back on the floor. And the Jayhawks have a 7-1 lead.
Early part of 24. By the end of 2024, he was back. He's beaten it for now. And a big part of that Missouri coaching staff.
A couple of different stints on Dennis Gates' staff. He was with him at Cleveland State. And Dennis was an assistant at Florida State. Don't forget, 100% of your donation goes to cancer research. Go to v.org/donate. Another free throw for Anthony Robinson II. Last year on the SEC all-defensive team. He does a lot of the dirty work for Dennis Gates' squad.
Yep, and he was well coached in high school by the name of the guy by the name of Charlie Ward.
Yeah, not bad.
Heisman Trophy winner, longtime NBA player, now coaching at FAMU, Florida A&M. And I agree with what Dennis told us about Anthony Robinson. It's not about the stats. It's the little things he does to facilitate winning for his team.
He is a steals machine. Jacob Cruz now on the floor for Missouri off the bench. He's their best shooter. Robinson throws it in, a contested 3. That's his first make from deep in 3 games, and he is fired up as Missouri finally gets a bucket.
That matchup with Peterson is going to be fun, and right now Boateng's going to get a piece of him. Honor a young man who was highly recruited, built like a linebacker. That's going to be an interesting matchup early.
Jamar McDowell gives it up. Peterson shares it into the corner. 5 to shoot for Kansas. Here's Trey White for 3. In and out. And Robinson with the rebound from Mizzou. Tigers looking to tie it up or take the lead. Robinson was feeling it. Boateng with the rebound. And the rebound putback falls off.
Kansas played terrific out in Las Vegas, and I thought they played well for 30 minutes at home on Tuesday night. And as I mentioned earlier, nobody looked to score down the stretch.
And Phillips with the foul out front.
Yeah, and I think the key now for Kansas is going to be how to get Peterson back in the flow and make his teammates better. But he's still, I'm expecting at some point early in this first half that he's going to get aggressive offensively. Right now, he's just kind of slowly working his way back into this game, if you will.
And remember, he didn't practice at all yesterday. He was out with illness as he finishes at the rim. He's got 5 early. Yeah. This is after, Fran, you had the UConn game. He had been practicing with that hamstring at 95% or so for a couple of weeks. Barrett stepped through contact and finishes. T.O. Barrett with his first bucket.
Nicely done. He went right at Peterson. Now a little bit of, this is like a 2-2-1 press, just to slow Kansas down. Take the ball out of Peterson's hands for a little bit.
Council and McDowell sharing the backcourt. Here's Trey White. Downhill to the right hand, and Phillips got a piece of it.
Oh boy, that could have been on the way down.
Here's Mitchell on the run out, and he banks it in. Missouri's tied it up on Mark Mitchell's first bucket of the game.
He is so good in the open court because of that size and agility. He's really hard to stop when he gets some momentum.
And now there's some juice in the building finally. Missouri contingent was something to cheer about. Peterson, pull up 3. Rebound corralled by Robinson. No numbers from Missouri. Mitchell doesn't mind. He takes it all the way
to guard. I expect to see more of that from him today.
I was talking to Bill Self about Mitchell yesterday, and he said we recruited him hard. He chose Duke over us, but he reminds Self, he said, of Cameron Boozer, who may be player of the year in college this year. Council, push shot off the back of the rim. Tigers on a 6-0 run. Robinson trying to find a gap. Mitchell's not afraid to shoot from deep, but he's not efficient from there. Here's a double. Cruz will pull. And Robinson tracks down the rebound as he's fouled by Trey White.
Now let's watch Darren Peterson starting to get aggressive. When you talk about his offensive game, there's literally nothing as a guard that he can't do. And then Mark Mitchell in the open court, when you're looking at a guy that size, you know, he goes 6'9", 230. Built like a tight end, really, really hard to control in the open court.
He is great at the rim, where 84% of his attempts come, but he's also got an 18% assist rate. Robinson working the screen for Mitchell. 7 to shoot for the Tigers.
He'll get downhill here.
Dragged his pivot foot. And a Missouri turnover. First of the game for either side.
I think what's important for Kansas right now is not to stand around and watch Darren Peterson. He's got to stay aggressive offensively. He's going to catch his breath right now, but this is a group that's on the court right now that played very well without him offensively.
Here's McDowell for 3. Off the mark. McDowell has only taken 3 twos on this season. 23 of his 27 shots have come from deep. Jayhawks only 1 for 7 from behind the arc. Missouri on a 6-0 run. Take a 2-point lead here in the first half.
If there's a difference between last year's Missouri team and this year's, they lost 2 guys basically to the NBA, and Caleb Grill and Tamar Bates. Jaden Stone is hurt. He's the transfer from Detroit. He will give them some offense when he gets back at the end of December.
He's out with a broken left hand on shooting hand. Dennis told us before the game today, late December, and they open conference play against Florida at home, then go to Kentucky, and the tough sledding starts as Robinson commits his first.
You know, Marco Jackson coming off 2 back-to-back quality performances. Missed last year. Former McDonald's All-American. 17 out in Vegas, and then 11 against UConn.
And he seems to be shooting the ball with confidence. He's made 5 of his last 10 from deep.
Yes, he has. Yep. And he's certainly athletic enough to help this team defensively. But they could really use an offensive boost from him.
Devon Porter, the latest in the Porter clan, returns. His older brother, Michael Porter Jr., played in that exhibition game here, his lone season at Missouri, before going on to win a NBA championship. Here's Trey White.
He did not show up the way Bill Self needed him to on Tuesday. And again, with this lineup, they are still looking for scoring. Their defense is good enough to compete with anybody in the country. It's the offensive end that they really need help.
Jackson knocked it away. It'll stay with Missouri.
Well, the off-traveled Trey White, who's been in a number of schools, has shot the ball well this year, not so much on Tuesday. But they're just looking for more and more offense from everybody not named Darren Peterson. And that's the defensive end they give you. They're athletic on the perimeter. They have a shot blocker in Badunga. And again, their defense right now can really match up with anybody in America. And you got an example of it right there.
6th in the country in blocks, and Badunga 14th in the country. Here's Porter getting downhill, kicks it back out, and Barrett swings it to Mitchell. He wants to drive. And another turnover for Mark Mitchell, his second travel.
He'll get out of control, but I don't mind it because he's always on attack. And you see 2-2, he put the sign up there. That's a 2-2-1 press. And when Kansas is not attacking the press, there's no reason to take it off. So they're just going to hope for some sloppy play here.
Kansas only turns it over 11 times a game. As many issues as they've had finding buckets, turnovers have not been an issue. Part of that has been the pace with which they played. McDowell solves it easily, but Dunga gets it down low. Peterson returns the favor. Harvey Phillips with the block. Up ahead to Robinson. Here's Porter for three. And it rolls home after hitting the back of the rim. Missouri back up to him.
Well, he's known as a stretch big. That's how he played at Pepperdine and LMU before transferring back home.
Columbia native out of Father Tolton High School. Here's Council. Got free and lays up and in. Melvin Council Jr.'s got 4 early for KU.
He has to stay on the attack. He has to be a guy that gets downhill, gets to the foul line. They don't shoot a lot of free throws, Kansas, because they don't throw it inside that much.
Boateng with the miss for the final jam. Dennis Gates told us pregame we've got to protect the rim. Second chance points are going to be key for us tonight. Missouri, I think if you're to simplify, Fran, is a hustle team.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it. Boateng exemplifies that. Highly recruited, didn't play a lot last year, but been impressed with him when he's been healthy this year.
Missouri would love for this to be a track meet. Here's Phillips inside. Working on Badonga, and the jump hook goes, and then a foul after the shot. They're going to count the bucket for Sean Phillips Jr.
I'm going to tell you, I watched Phillips practice in October when I was over in Columbia, Tom. He played at Arizona State last year, but he was a bit player because of Jaden Quaintance, who's now at Kentucky. When he's healthy, he'll be as athletic as any big man in the SEC. I'm just telling you. He was a revelation when we watched him practice. He's been ill, but you see some of what he's capable of doing.
T.O. Barrett got fouled for the push after the ball went through. So Barrett charged with 1. Missouri with a 4-point advantage. Largest lead of the game for Mizzou. Here's Peterson. You just kind of wait until Peterson takes over this game. He's got the talent to do so. A bump and a trip to the line coming.
That's good basketball right there. Jackson and Council particularly, they need to stay aggressive all season long, downhill driving to the basket.
So here's Elmarko Jackson, 79% from the line on the season. And one more coming up at 5 Eastern on ESPN and the app. Caleb Wilson and number 16 North Carolina play host to Georgetown and Chapel Hill. What a moment when Kansas went to Dean Smith Center for the first time ever earlier this season.
Hard to believe when you think of the incredible history. Dean Smith played at Kansas. Roy Williams coached there. Bill Self said he'd love to keep that rivalry going. He kind of feels about that rivalry the way Dennis Gates feels about this rivalry.
Yeah, I think it's right. Jackson goes 1 of 2 from the line.
There's no reason these two teams should not play every year. I think you and I would agree it would be better on the home courts.
No, there's no doubt about it. The energy is about 80 decibels different in either arena. Here's Porter off the curl, rebounded by Tiller. Talking to Gates about this rivalry, he said, I won't be the reason it ends, when we met with him before the game. But as of now, next year's matchup here at T-Mobile is the last on record. Took a little while for Cole Rosario to get in the game, and Kansas turns it over. And now Barrett through traffic. Mitchell got deep. Barrett reverses it, too strong. Porter fights for the rebound. Alton track to the rim, and he's fouled by Badonga.
Really good effort by Javon Porter. A little trivia question. All 3 brothers have had a double-double at Missouri. He just added to that. And I don't think Flory was vertical right there. He was moving. He jumped straight up, but he was moving into the driver. And I think Jeffrey Anderson got that right.
One more coming his way. He's had 4 siblings play at Missouri. You mentioned the 2 brothers. How many double-doubles did the 2 sisters have?
I see that. You know?
Not your area.
not, they played for Robin Pinkton.
That's right.
Yeah. And wasn't Mom a good player?
Indeed.
Yeah.
So Javon goes 1 of 2 from the line.
Kind of like the Sandbothies, right?
Yeah, kind of, a little bit different.
Yeah, a little different. But of course, they spawned a pretty good Kansas Jayhawk and Christian Brown.
I was talking to myself about that yesterday. The 3 is off the mark, rebounded by Trey White. I said, are you going to have to talk to your team about the rivalry? You know, a lot of these guys are new. I said the first renewal of it, you had Christian Brown over there. He wasn't going to let his team lose. White for 3. Second triple of the game for the senior from Dallas by way of Illinois, Louisville, and USC. Boateng gets caught deep. Tillerman got a piece of it. And now Mitchell left it short. Foul.
Mitchell's relentless. I love watching him play. It's a 2-year starter at Duke, and he's getting it done back home right here in his hometown. Don't think he doesn't want to be motivated to play well today. From the arena.
Man, he played on some legendary Kansas teams, but they lost on a Corey Tate buzzer beater. That was even though they had Rafe LaFrentz and Paul Pierce.
Man, how good. And, well, Mizzou, you know well, they had some great ones too.
Another one coming from Mitchell, high school McDonald's All-America, Sunrise Christian. Before that, Bishop Mays right here in Kansas City. Rebounded by Trey White.
Well, we've talked about Kansas's offense. Getting downhill, Trey White making shots. Bryson Tiller has got to play inside and use that size and physicality. Nice post up right there.
High low to Peterson, and he blows the bunny.
Good set play coming out of the timeout.
Here's Cruz, Missouri's best shooter, hadn't gotten it going yet. Missouri's missed its last 4 field goal attempts. Cruz lobs to Mitchell. Mitchell hounded inside.
Oh, he got fouled.
Bevy of arms.
He did get fouled by Tiller. Reached in.
Shot clock at 2. Corner 3. A brick. And the kick out rebound. Mitchell went for it. Ended up on top of Trey White.
Wow. There was a lot going on that loose ball. They got Mitchell for the foul. I got to see that again because I thought it was White bringing down Mitchell. Take a look right here. And it's great hustle. No, that's a good call. That's a really good call right there. They both were hustling. You know, in the old days, they would let them play on, but Mitchell put White at a disadvantage. Good job of officiating right there.
Big crew today, Jeffrey Anderson, Marquise Pettigrew, and Tony Chiazza. Here's White finding Jackson. Kansas shooting just 32% from the floor. Peterson's hesitation before giving it up. And then Cruz knocked it down. Shot like a 9.
He's got to stay aggressive. He's got to shoot those balls.
Counsell to Peterson. Goes to the deck. Boateng ties him up. It'll belong to Mizzou.
Well, this has been an ugly first 13 minutes. But I don't think Dennis Gates is disappointed at all. It's been a scrappy, tough, hard-nosed game. Kansas still trying to find an offensive rhythm in incorporating Peterson back in the lineup. You know, here's an interesting number, Tom. This is the 3rd season, if it holds, that Kansas will be out of the top 50 in offensive efficiency, which is really unheard of in Bill Self's 23 years. The defense, as of today, is 10th in the country. So it's certainly good enough to win games, but it's the offensive end that they really have to find some rhythm.
Jackson whistled for the foul. I had that talk with Bill yesterday at practice, and I said, you know, your defense is elite. He goes, no, we are not elite. We're good. We can be better.
Yeah.
But offensively is the big question mark. I guess the answer would be in how much Peterson can help him when he's on the floor.
And he will. You know, right now we're not seeing his best, but we certainly will as long as he stays healthy.
Mitchell gets it down low. Foul on his way up.
Well, they didn't. We heard a whistle. They counted. I'm not sure what happened
on the baseline.
Okay.
They did not report a foul. That's the case. It's a 3rd turnover for Mark Mitchell. Got him for a walk. Luke Northweather in the game for Missouri. Bia is also off the bench for Kansas. Peterson for 3. Second triple for the freshman, Derek Peterson.
Slowly but surely. Keep in mind, folks, he didn't even practice yesterday when he was cleared because of illness.
Robinson couldn't finish. We've had 4 lead changes already here in the first half. Peterson off balance, left it short. Chance for Missouri to push it. Robinson. He draws the foul and will go to the line. He's shown us glimpses today, Fran.
We'll see. We will see glimpses. I mentioned that I saw him make 8 straight in a scrimmage back in the fall. And when he gets it going, there really isn't, I think, a better offensive player in the country from the backcourt than this guy.
Anthony Robinson, the second at the free throw line, junior from Tallahassee, Florida. One more coming his way, 71% on the season for Robinson.
You know, it's too early, Tom, and NBA teams are not doing this either. I don't know who the #1 pick is going to be. It's either going to be DeBanza, Boozer, Peterson. And teams haven't even begun those meetings yet, but this kid's talent is just breathtaking. And you're not seeing much of it today, and you will. But just to see him back out on the court, I think Kansas fans have got to be thrilled.
Naismith Player of the Year last year, illegal screen, and Trey White gets whistled. That's his second.
Yeah, that's just another part of this. You know, the fact that they're still out of sorts offensively. Offensive fouls, moving screens drive me nuts because they're very avoidable.
Here's Luke Northweather, mid-Missouri kid out of Jefferson City. Missouri has missed its last 7 over the last 4:30 now. Cruz pulls from deep. He is 0 for 2.
Cruz is a tremendous shooter. I think the first 2 he's been rushed. Look at this.
The lob. And Trey White underneath. Couldn't hit the bunny after Peterson split the defense. Tigers push. Mitchell downhill. A runaway freight train, and now timeout Kansas. Mark Mitchell is fired up for this Mizzou team.
This is what he does. He is 6'9", 230, and we told you in the open court, you do not want to get in this guy's way. Flying through the air at T-Mobile. I think so, but to be honest, Seth, and I think Tom agrees, we're just not sure what to expect from a guy that hasn't played in a month, and then, aside from the hamstring, was, you know, saddled yesterday with some illness. So we have seen bits and pieces, but I'm sure Bill Self would love to see a little more.
And that's an understatement. He didn't participate in practice at all yesterday. Peterson for 3. He was in there in sweatpants and slippers, and he gets a tie-up and a jump ball for Kansas. The only part of practice that Derek Peterson participated in yesterday was when they went over the scouting report at the end, and he moved from the sideline to the baseline. Otherwise, he was under the weather, to put it mildly. And Bill Self mentioned, he said, listen, it's just an illness. If he can play tomorrow, he's got to start. And on top of that, our entire team's been sick. It's run through everybody.
Everybody goes through that. I was sick early in the week. I got my 45 minutes on the treadmill.
You're always sick.
Yeah.
And Peterson's defensive effort gets the ball back. And from Mizzou, they go bigger. Sean Phillips, a 7-footer from Arizona State, re-enters for the Tigers. Watch the lob, Fran.
Uh-oh. No lob right now off that inbounds.
Steal by Barrett, and it stays with KU. Peterson mismatch on Mitchell. Picked up his dribble. Here it is. Gets the screen. 5 to shoot. Goes around Phillips and draws a foul.
Good job there by Barrett. He knew he had the big fella out on the court and just drove it. And here's the day so far. If you've just joined us, I think Seth Greenberg said it best. Morsels of Darren Peterson's play.
He's got one of the best nicknames in hoops. It's Bucket Jones, but so far we're just seeing a dribble.
Yeah. Yeah, and the bucket's not full yet.
No, they haven't even opened the faucet. 3 for 8, and here he is at the free throw line. He is 8 of 10 from the free throw line on the season. Remember, only 2 games in his pocket. Big 12 preseason freshman of the year, the 10th in Kansas history. The only two, though, that won it after being preseason were Josh Jackson and Andrew Wiggins.
And Bill Self has said that this young guy is the best freshman he believes he's coached since coming to Kansas in 23 years.
They're tied for the 4th time in this back and forth affair. Tigers offense has gone cold, just 1 for their last 9.
Throw it to this guy and let him drive it.
Working on Tiller. Robinson left alone. Can't make him pay. Madunga with the rebound. Good ball shot. Dennis Gates wants a timeout. First bucket for the KU big. And now the Jayhawks fans, probably 90% strong in the building, are letting their voices be heard. Fitting a huge bucket for Floyd Madunga.
Yeah, what happened was Northweather gets caught on the top side, so easy pass inside. Dennis was not happy about it. It didn't look like Northweather had any fight, but I also have to tell you, the first post defender is always the man guarding the basketball, and I didn't see a lot of pressure from Robinson, so that there was an easy look inside. But Madunga, that's what he can do. He can score around the rim, and a good seal by the sophomore from the Congo via Kokomo High School in Kokomo, Indiana.
Congo to Kokomo, that's not a direct flight.
No.
In case you're curious.
Nope.
Tigers just 1 for their last 10. Where can they find offense outside of Mitchell?
I mean, really, he's the main guy because you're not going to leave Cruz open. And Barrett and Robinson are more playmakers.
They're switching everybody on Cruz. It's Council trailing him now. Barrett leaves Peterson behind. Took a shot to the chest. And it's blocked by Tiller. Cruz sent to the floor. 5-on-4 for the Jayhawks. Peterson tried to dump it off. Madunga saves it, and then Tiller's fouled by Robinson.
I like all of that. I like all of that because Bryson Tiller, who I think is going to be a very good player in Kansas, he falls in love with the jump shot, and that's okay someday. Not when you've missed 13 threes in a row. Where this guy could have a big effect on this team is that second post player pounding it inside. Good job by Floyd Madunga to find him.
He was as aggressive as you going after the flapjacks at breakfast this morning.
Yeah, you got it.
Bryson Tiller, Atlanta native. 65% from the line. Tuesday is the 31st annual Jimmy V Classic once again at Madison Square Garden on ESPN. How about this matchup? Clemson against number 9 BYU, and then 15th ranked Florida, the defending champs, taking on number 5 UConn. Always a great night for a great cause.
So many impressive teams early in the year. Obviously Michigan, Gonzaga's bounced back. You know, Danny Hurley's team has not been whole. Tarris Reed's still out. They got Mullins back. That is obviously among the very dangerous teams in college hoop.
Nicholas Randall getting some run from Missouri here late in the first half. Touch at the top of the key. Now Robinson. Hand off to Mitchell. Guarded by Tiller. Through traffic again. And the loose ball. But Dunga's got his hands on it. We're going to jump ball. And it will stay with Missouri.
It's going to be a low clock situation right here. So Mizzou's got to go quickly. Everybody in the country has what we call a low clock play. They get it to Mitchell and let him go, honestly.
Randall hands it off to him. 3 to shoot. Pull up 3. Oh, wow, the Dunga went down hard.
Melvin Council needs to stay out of this. It's just not a good play. It was an easy foul call. It was an easy foul call. Randall went over the back. They had it right away. Council jumped in there. Just play the game.
Does Council react like that if it's any other opponent, or is that agnostic in this situation?
No, because he doesn't really understand the rivalry. It's a foul, okay, over the back. No big deal. Watch. Council's right there with him. You don't need to do that. You know, if that's Jason Sutherland and Jock Vaughn, different deal because they compete for 4 years. Other than the talk last night, these guys, for the most part, don't understand the rivalry. And see, look,
went down really hard. They're going to review to see if it was indeed a dead ball contact technical after the play.
So here's the deal with that, just so everybody knows. Because it's a dead ball contact technical, not a personal foul, if they rule that there was a dead ball contact technical, anybody on the opposing team can shoot the free throws. I love the effort. And see, I think Maury McDowell.
You got a Golden Globe there for Robinson? You got acting, or would you keep?
No. That's good, hard foul. I think McDowell's going to be the guy getting a dead ball contact technical. You know, the problem I have with this is you expect a tough, hard-nosed game. That's a given. It was an easy foul call. He went over the back. He's a freshman. He didn't do it on purpose. But then if you're counsel, you don't need to overreact. It just puts your team in a bad way. What I saw from the video was that Jamari McDowell then reached in and pushed the Missouri player out of the way. What else happened in that scrum, Marcus Pettigrew will sort this out.
So they got a lot to sort out here. If it's technical on McDowell, it would be his first. We're going to have offsetting technicals. Robinson will get one from Missouri, and that is his third. And that is a big issue for Dennis Gates and Missouri to have the third foul on Anthony Robinson. And Kansas will be shooting the one-on-one on the other end. But to me, the biggest takeaway from that, Fran, is you got the explanation. That's the third on Anthony Robinson now.
It's the third on Anthony Robinson, but we also have a dead ball contact technical here that I think Missouri's going to shoot. There's a 1-and-1 at one end, and that's going to be Flory Badunga.
Yeah.
So that was the over the back. That was the easy call.
They had two technicals.
Yes.
So they cancel each other out.
They did cancel each other out, but I also think there's a dead ball contact that's been thrown in. Let's see. The two technicals cancel each other out, no free throws, but I think Marcus Pettigrew explained that there was a dead ball contact technical, and that simply means that anybody could shoot it, which is probably why Jacob Cruz is coming into the game right now.
So Badunga at the free throw line. This is the 1-and-1, and he knocks down the first of what will now be two. And Kansas has put together a 6-0 run to open up a 4-point advantage here late in the first half.
Flory's shooting 70% on the line this year. He continues to improve offensively.
And now the officials are going to get both teams together at midcourt. Got a campfire and a ukulele. We're going kumbaya. What are we doing here?
Hey, I'd say this is preventive officiating. So, all right. So from what I can tell, there was no third technical, which means point of interruption.
And the arrow will give Missouri the basketball on the baseline. Once again, it's the third personal on Anthony Robinson, Missouri's best defender.
Yep, exactly. And again, he needed to show some discretion also, because he's as important to his team as Melvin Council Jr. is.
And you know, officiating better than anybody, it was the flop that got Robinson, and something that they've kept a close eye on over the last couple of years.
They have, yeah, but that's why there was the corresponding tees. I like this. Go to the basket.
Mitchell jump hook finds its own.
And what I love about that play, either way, is that the officials now, at least for the next 2 minutes, are going to blow the whistle closely. So go to the basket and attack and make them blow the whistle. That time, Mark Mitchell got a good look at the basket.
So Missouri has its best defender, Robinson, on the bench for the final 2 minutes of this first half. Here's Peterson working on Boateng. Spin, fade away.
Yeah.
Darren Peterson's got a dozen here early, and he has let the game come to him.
You know, Bill Self looked over at his bench. It was almost as if to say he needs to do that more, and I think we'll see that in the second half.
Double coming on Mitchell. Steps through, finds Barrett. Cruz, pump fake. Couldn't reload quick enough.
Well, that was was really good defense by Jamari McDowell because the offense was perfect. Double, kick it out to Cruz.
Missouri stagnant on the offensive end. Barrett left it well short.
Great no call right there.
McDowell gives it up. Here's Peterson.
See, I drive it. Drive this guy.
Instead, a step back three and couldn't find the rim. Randall picks it up.
See, and again, it gets back to that mindset. The officials are going to blow the whistle if you put the body on somebody.
Here's Mitchell. The freight train can't convert, and Boateng knocks it out of bounds. Officials saw it differently. It'll be Missouri basketball, I believe.
Well, remember, this is reviewable, but your video guy had better be very quick. You've got to let them know very quickly. Looks like it's off Mizzou, but here's the problem. You better be absolutely certain if you're going to review it.
Yeah, if you're going to challenge, you win the challenge, you get your timeout back, and you retain the challenge.
Right. Now
the guys in the back of the bench are the ones, I saw it, you can see his mouth with the laptop going through the film.
Yeah, now from that angle, it certainly looks like it's off Missouri. But you and I have seen plays this year that look that obvious that were not overturned. Let's see again. Let's see now from that angle, it still looks like it's off Missouri, but it could be off Trey White. And when they go to the DV video, they got to be absolutely sure. I think it's going to be overturned, but we'll see.
It is overturned indeed.
Yep. And that's a good job by the video guys behind the Kansas bench, because
I was joking with one last week. I said this is a lot of pressure because I got to be really quick. My coach is demanding.
I kind of live that life right now with a member of my family.
You can relate?
Yes, I can. It's a pressure job.
30 seconds on the shot clock, 41.3 in the game.
Yeah, now you're not going to go 2 for 1 here because there's not enough time. So what you want to do is settle in, get a great look. And
Bill Self has won 21 of 26 head-to-head matchups with Missouri, even including his time at Illinois. He's asked about the rivalry this week. He said, I know it well because I knew it my time in Champaign.
He also interviewed for the Missouri job in the spring of 1999. Quinn Snyder was hired. Bill Self stayed at Tulsa, and it's worked out pretty good for Bill Self and Quinn Snyder, by the way.
Now with the Hawks, here's Council. Peterson looking for a step.
Go to the basket.
Pull-up jumper. Second time he settled for a pull-up.
Yeah, I think he can get to the rim on that quite easily, frankly.
See what Missouri has drawn up. Mitchell has taken 9 of their 31 shots in this half. He waits on the right wing. T.O. Barrett with the ball in his hand, hounded by Melvin Council Jr. 10 to shoot. Screen from Mitchell. They dump it off to the big fella. And now he drives. Blocked from behind by Trey White. Kansas, the last opportunity. White, pull up. Got it! He gets the bucket for the longest game of the half for Kansas. Fantastic clock awareness for Trey White. He got the basketball. He glanced at the clock. And instead of trying to take it to the rim, he pulled up.
Quick review right here. He's already looked at the clock. That's good basketball. At half court, he eyed the clock. He had it in his head, and he was able to get it up quickly. And sometimes there's a little luck involved, but that's going to be good. Good job by Trey White right there. See that? He looked right there. That's great awareness for an upperclassman.
They're taking a deep look to see if his toe is on the line. Regardless, Kansas will end the half on a nice little run, 12-2 in the last 4 minutes. Let's get to the studio with Kevin Keats, Seth Greenberg. Here's Kevin Connors.
Scoring of Bates and Grill from last year. They need somebody else besides Mitchell to get it going.
Missouri offense that averages better than 90 points a game. They've been among the national leaders since Dennis Gates got to Como. But their schedule taking a turn for the tougher now with Kansas and then Illinois in the bragging rights game in a couple of weeks. That's before conference play. Here's Council, lost it. Trey White found it. 5 straight for Trey White.
Patient basketball right there.
Should note they reviewed the three from Trey White at the end of the half at the buzzer, and it stayed a three.
Yep. It was inconclusive. It was hard to change it. They didn't have a great angle.
Mitchell fouled on his way in. It'll be the second on Bryson Tiller.
And I think that's what Mitchell has to do. We know he loves at times to shoot the three. But we also know that is not his strength. His strength is as a guy that attacks the basket in the open court and in the half court, for example, right there.
Kansas City native, played his AAU ball with Grady Dick. It's an ACC tournament champion playing at Duke, and he's got one more coming his way.
Well, obviously, when he was going into his junior year, they brought a guy named Cooper Flagg to Durham, and it would have been a little crowded for Mark. Came home, and he's been extremely productive. All SEC a year ago.
He lives at the free throw line, 10th in the country in free throw attempts coming into this afternoon. What a weekend of college basketball. Holy smokes, we got to find a new number one. Purdue got blown out by Iowa State. Take your pick. It might be Duke, might be Michigan. They both had impressive wins yesterday. The floater for Darren Peterson.
He shot that ball with his left hand, Tom.
Boateng tied up by Badunga. Peterson up ahead. Here's the feed. Pull up three. Too strong. And now Boateng taking it all the way into the paint. Out to Anthony Robinson. And a whistle on a reach-in by Javon Porter. Comes easy to him.
And it sure does. Take a look. He shoots this with his left hand off the glass. And there's really nothing offensively that when he's completely healthy that he can't do. He'll be an instant star, I believe, in the NBA.
What do the scouts in the NBA teams think about the time that he has missed to this point?
It's a good question. I asked a number of guys, does a hamstring issue cause you any concern? And to a man, they said, no, not at all. Good luck.
And Tiller with the jam. KU's opened up a 13-point advantage. Danger zone for Missouri, and Dennis Gates uses a timeout. Jayhawks taking over T-Mobile. It's a 13-point lead for the 21st ranked team.
For an elf, the holidays are stressful, but for ice bear, juicy.
Mutual. Oh. Can keep coming back. Lining.
Tell you you're a tad Golden Knights
Schedule they put together. I was talking to him about it yesterday. I said, it feels like it's an uptick. He goes, no. We always do that. Yeah. Now, big picture college basketball, I feel like all of the great teams have done a remarkable job of scheduling incredible games, especially those on campus.
More top 25 matchups, AP top 25 matchups than at any time in history. A loss to a quality team is almost better than a win over a quad 3 or quad 4. In fact, it is.
Yeah.
You know, if you lose to Auburn, you lose to Alabama, Purdue. You know, how about Iowa State yesterday, blowing out Purdue?
Mitchell has it rejected. Tiller with the block. White finds counsel. And here's the freshman Darren Peterson. They run two at him.
Got to get it swung quickly. There you go.
Badunga finds White, and they'll get Sean Phillips Jr. with the personal foul.
That play is indicative of what Bill Self is going to be doing the next 3 weeks, because when you go back, if you're a Kansas fan, you remember this well. The second half at North Carolina, when Seth Trimble face guarded Darren Peterson, Kansas stood around and watched. Then they play without him and start to get the rhythm in Las Vegas. And now all of a sudden this next couple weeks is going to be about getting those players to stay aggressive while incorporating a great player who will be unselfish when he needs to be, but can get buckets with the best of them.
And Trey White getting buckets today. He's already above his season average. Who else offensively can raise their individual game for Kansas?
Lori Badunga around the basket with the seals, the lobs over the top. You'll see some lobs off a pick and roll. White, Peterson, Badunga, and then you throw in maybe Counsell downhill on occasion. Those are really the three guys.
Missouri needs a bucket. Largest deficit of the afternoon. Robinson, the ball fake, got Council in the air. This year's Women's Jimmy V Classic is the Hawkeye State rivalry. Number 10 Iowa State plays host to number 12 Iowa Wednesday night 7 Eastern on ESPN.
Should be a great matchup. Audie Crooks, what'd she just do? She got 46 last week for the Cyclones. Will Fennerly likes his team.
Here's a double on Mitchell. Dribbled out of it. Now Cruz left open. He hasn't got it going yet. And still not.
That's good basketball right there. Great double team. Good kick out by Mitchell. Cruz usually makes that shot. This is what I like. That's his game. He is not a good shooter. But in the open court, when you spread the floor offensively, take a look right here. This is what he's got to continue to do. The transfer from St. Bonaventure got to be on the attack. Now Marco Jackson, same way when he comes in.
And that is the 4th personal foul on Anthony Robinson II. 3-point play for Council. 9-0 run. The Jayhawks have taken this thing over.
And they weren't able to get him out, so he's got to be judicious right here.
Robinson fouled out late in the game against Notre Dame. Missouri gave away the lead late. T.O. Barrett converts on the drive.
Coming into this game without Jaden Stone, the transfer who's the second leading scorer. I would have been concerned if I were Missouri. Where can we get points? And that's basically what's happened so far.
They need to get Stone back. They need to find Trent Pierce, who's been MIA so far this season with an undisclosed injury. 6 to shoot. Council off balance. Rebounded by Mitchell.
Tough shot.
Leaking ahead. Found him just in time. First bucket for Jacob Cruz, who had 22 last time out against Notre Dame. It's been a big missing piece for the Tigers today.
Well, he's had wide open looks. He just hasn't knocked them down. Shoots at about 40% from 3.
Peterson waiting on the left wing. Here's Badunga working on Northwell. Now White. They doubled White. Peterson was open. That's not the guy you want to leave. He's got 17.
He was not open. T.O. Barrett was in his face. But great ball movement right there. Confidence growing. Really good job by Badunga. He would not have passed that ball last year capably.
Mitchell for 3. Tigers feeling desperate on the offensive end.
Well, I like this speed right here.
Council whips it behind his back, and a whistle and a foul will send Tiller to the line.
Now this was great ball movement by Kansas out of the double team of Badunga. But watch T.O. Barrett. He's right in Peterson's face. Doesn't matter. He's invisible. So they averaged 35 on the season. Obviously, Peterson's small sample size. But it's looking good. And, you know, I thought the first half, Peterson, we expected him not to be Oscar Robertson, right? Kobe Bryant. But you can see flashes of that incredible ability the young man has, and he's resting right now.
So here's Bryson Tiller, freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, at a Pace Academy, and then overtime elite. 5-star recruit.
I would say this, and I don't say this often about Kansas, Tom. Their ceiling is high. The talent level is good. To me, there's only a couple guys who are going to play in the NBA. But I do believe their ceiling is high because they have a lot of good role players. And the defense may not be elite in Bill Self's mind, but it's certainly good enough to win a lot of Big 12 games.
All right, so define that ceiling.
You mean like long-term?
Yeah.
March? Oh, I think they're a Sweet 16 team. If everything clicks, absolutely. Keep in mind, they were picked 6th in the league, even with Peterson.
Sebastian Mack is just now getting run from Missouri. And we got a foul and a push-off underneath against Jacob Cruz. Mack plays 22 minutes a game. We hadn't seen him until just
And
now.
he played 7 minutes against Notre Dame.
Transfer from UCLA.
Solid defender.
Guarding Jackson now.
Good slip.
And Badunga went right past Tiller. Couldn't finish the dunk. Northweather ends up picking up the foul.
You know, Tom, I think last year, Floyd Badunga, you may have this wrong, but there were very few games he had 2 assists from. It might have been 3 games. His passing this year is probably the biggest thing he's improved on. His feel for the game. The rebounding, the lob catching, the shot blocking, they were all visible last year. His feel for the game right there, that we call that a short roll. For a big guy to be on the move like that, not travel and find his teammate, is a huge development in his offensive improvement.
Another free throw coming for Bryson Tiller, and Kansas has its largest lead of the game, up 20, 14-27 to go. Northweather lets it fly from 3. Fran, I just want to put a thought in your head. This is a beautiful building. I know you've been here a million times for the Big 12 tournament, but could you imagine what Allen Fieldhouse would be doing right now with this score if this game was on campus?
Yeah, it feels like a quarterfinal game of the Big 12 tournament where Kansas is supposed to win. No knock on the crowd that showed up today.
Jackson regathered and rebounded by Barrett.
And I think if they continue this series after next year,
Mitchell's able to get to
that I just think it's better playing it on the campuses.
Sure.
It just makes sense. Unless you split the building here down the middle, this is pro Kansas this year. Next year will be pro Missouri.
Missouri shows zone for the first time tonight. I also have another rule I'd like installed. Turn around for Tiller. And that is any neutral site game, right? Whether it's Border War or this game here in Kansas City, others we've seen, Indianapolis,
Birmingham.
Yeah, we got to play them at night.
Yeah,
We got to give people a chance to get to town, enjoy the city, and play it once the sun goes down. Northweather for 3. And the Blair Oaks High School product out of mid-Missouri by way of Oklahoma knocks down his first.
Yep, played a couple years for Porter Moser. He's back home. What's Jeff City from Columbia? 30 minutes?
I used to make it 12.
Oh,
And no cops in I-63. Badunga fouled by, nope, we walked with it. And Javon Porter returns for Missouri. So how does Bill Self feel about his team if this score holds today versus maybe how he felt after the UConn?
Well, see, I thought they played 25 to 30 good minutes against UConn, and they just, you know, they laid an egg offensively. I think there's progress being made, honestly. I was out in Las Vegas, and you had 5 guys in double figures over the 3 days, and I think he feels good about his team.
Mack off the window and in. That's his game.
Mostly a 2-year starter for Mick Cronin. Back home a little bit closer to Chicago. Kansas going to get a chance to work on some zone offense right now.
Worked on it yesterday at practice in Lawrence, and himself expected to see at least a taste of it tonight. White goes high-low.
Nice.
High percentage. Look on the jam by Tiller.
If you're watching at home, when you see a zone, they're playing you zone for 2 reasons. They don't think you could shoot it, or they think you're too hard to guard inside. So when you get the ball inside against a zone, it's demoralizing. This is perfect high-low basketball right there. That's how you do it. And the threes come as a result of the ball moving inside.
Missouri's played zone mostly against the power conference teams they faced this season, Minnesota and Notre Dame. Really wasn't necessary against the rest of the schedule. Cruz maybe heating up.
And that's what he does. I thought in those first couple threes in the first half, he rushed them. That time, good rhythm, good kick out.
Mizzou down 2 touchdowns. Here's Jackson.
If you're Kansas now, you want to keep the foot on the gas pedal and not sleepwalk, because 14 can become 6 quickly.
White dumps it off. Nice look and a foul charge to Missouri. And it'll be Northweather for his second. Kansas in control, up 14 on this Sunday afternoon in Kansas City.
KU Missouri game, and you're going to see some great players become greater. You're going to be some good players that are going to be great in certain ball games. And it's a great, it really is just, it's tremendous to watch the competition. It's great competition. Football, basketball, baseball, all of it.
The legendary Norm Stewart, 90 years young, and we've seen some great players up their game for Kansas today in the name of Darren Peterson, and a good player, great Trey White.
Yeah, we haven't seen Bud Stallworth get 50 like he did in the early 70s for Kansas, but certainly Trey White stepped up. He needed to. He did not play well on Tuesday. Peterson, given that he's played the first time in a month, I thought he's really done an admirable job. He's going to get healthier and healthier.
Tiller's got another one coming. That's a pretty good list of players, great or otherwise, that have upped the game, whether it was Peeler and his 43 and
yes.
Allen Fieldhouse. Thomas Gardner, you called that game?
I did call that
40?
game. It's the final game, final win of Quinn Snyder's career. The overtime game where, unfortunately, our good friend Christian Moody missed the 2 free throws. And I think the building shook that night when he was on the foul line.
You can see the athletic training staff working on Darren Peterson, rubbing out not the hamstring, but the calf. Here's Barrett.
Well, he did have, early season. There's Cruz getting it going. Really, really good. It's interesting. When he transferred from North Florida, he was not a great shooter percentage-wise. But he has been a great addition for 2 years. Yeah, remember Darren, and I believe it was the Louisville game. I was there, and he had cramping issues. We might be dealing with that right now.
Now Marco Jackson off the side of the backboard. Missouri has made its last 5. In this rivalry, the game is never over. Cruz left it short. Remember the last meetings they had as conference foes, both big comebacks, each for the home team.
Well, plenty of time left. This game can deteriorate from Kansas's point of view if they don't look to score more. That looked like a foul.
No whistle. And tracked down by Northweather.
Don't see
to shoot. Heaved by Barrett. It found the rim, and then it found the hands of Melvin Council. Jayhawks by a dozen. McDowell after the ball fake. Fouled on the 3.
Cardinal sin. You get a guy that shot fakes you off the line. He slides over. It's probably going to be a low percentage 3, and then you foul him. Not a high IQ basketball play right there.
And so Jamari McDowell, third-year player out of Houston, Manville High School. There they are working on Darren Peterson. And 3 free throws coming from McDowell after the foul charge to Barrett. McDowell came in 6 for 6 from the line. It's the first 2. Our Week 14 Monday Night Football matchup is the Eagles and Chargers. 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Deportes, plus a special Monsters Fun Day football version on ESPN2 and Disney Networks with an animated game in the iconic Monsters Inc. world with Mike Wazowski leading the Eagles. My guy Sully leading the Chargers. McDowell 1 for 3.
Eagles got to get that passing game going. A lot of consternation right now in the city of brotherly love.
Might be a little stress here in Kansas City. Feels like a must-win tonight against the Texans.
And there are a lot of people that we've seen around town that are in town for it. Some have been able to do the doubleheader.
McDowell whistled for his second. Yeah, got some buddies right behind us. We're going to check out Power and Light for a minute or 2. Squeeze in some tailgating, and then football under the lights at Arrowhead. Not bad.
If I didn't have to get out of town, I might join them. I hear Arrowhead is unbelievable.
You've never been?
I've never been Arrowhead. Nope.
Barrett behind Cruz, and now the screen from Phillips. 5 to shoot inside of the 7-footer. And a whistle against Kansas.
El Marco got caught reaching into the cookie jar. Again, those low clock fouls were not necessarily great plays. You see, there's a lot of red and gold in here, aside from the blue and red and black and gold.
Were you talking with Tay-Tay before the game? Is she going to come by to watch hoops? Here's Trey White with the rebound. You know, she's engaged to the Chiefs tight end. Did you know that?
Yeah, I heard something about that.
Here's Council with the crossover, and now Jackson gets downhill. 3 ball. Zamari McDowell, his first bucket.
Well, that's an area he's really improved in. He redshirted last year, and the work has paid off.
Barrett changed directions twice, dumped down, and an easy look.
Did a good job of not sliding that foot. Sophomore from Oklahoma City.
If you got time to kill, just go to Arrowhead, park for a little bit, and take part in the tailgating. Yeah. Your flight's later. Cruz whistle for the foul.
It's either tailgating or Cracker Barrel. Let's go back and watch Jamari McDowell. Last year, redshirted for Bill Self. This year, his numbers are way up behind the three-point line. He gives you the defense. He was terrific defensively in Las Vegas. There's a man from Houston, Manville High School. Got a great football program down there.
A good free throw shooting lately for Kansas. Trey White's got another one coming his way. Did you get upset at Cracker Barrel when they took away the triangle game, the T game?
Hell, I did.
A real friend for Sheila's coming out.
No. You know, I'm curious to see if we'll see Brandon Peterson. I would assume that they're rubbing out the cramp. And be surprised if he's done for the night. But right now, with a 15-point lead, I don't think Bill Self's going to chance anything.
Well, do you think with 17 points in 23 minutes, you got enough content for his YouTube channel today?
Well, I'll tell you this. I think there's a number of NBA scouts here that are glad they're here. I mean, I think they have a beat on him already. Nice. One extra.
What is to learn about a guy like Darren Peterson from a scouting perspective?
You know, a lot of these teams have seen him 5, 6, 7 times going back to high school. You love to watch guys early, hour or two before, watch them shoot, the rhythm of their shots, how they work, how they interact with their teammates. I'm not ready because I don't think, I'll put it this way. I have a moratorium on saying who the #1 pick is right now.
But you've worked the draft for years. You also know what these teams are thinking.
Yeah, and I think, like I told you earlier, they're not concerned about the hamstring. He's a prodigious talent. Very likely could go #1. Still time.
Follow-up question.
Yeah.
And this game has been in hand for Kansas, but his lack of playing time through the previous 7 games, the illness yesterday, apparent cramping today. This fan base has to be scratching its head and wondering, can Badanga finish again? Yes, he can.
Yes, they were wondering that.
What if this were a conference game? What if we're late January, mid-February?
Well, I think the question's going to be, obviously they held him out for good reason because it's a long season. I think the question's going to be on the part of fans, and they've asked me this. I don't have the answer. What happens in early February when he's got cramping or sore wrist? In the meantime, how much has he improved? Flory Badunga going up to the top. Hey, while you're at the top of the arena, will you get me a Diet Coke?
Kansas in control in KC. Yeah, I would say so, Kevin. The Big 12 championship on the football field, and JT Toppin coming off a 27-point game against Wyoming. Got an undefeated LSU team up next. Top hard friend for Sheila. Phillips in the paint, can't quite finish. Gets it back and has it knocked away. These two teams have built their schedules very differently. And we had a long talk with Dennis Gates about his scheduling philosophy. It's a contradictory to what we've seen from Bill Self and other coaches of big-time programs who have seemingly tackled not only big-time opponents, but done it in true road games. As Sebastian Mack has a run out after the steal, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Well, here's how I would look at it. If you're Missouri, you're going to always play Illinois. You're going to always play well, at least you're going to play Kansas the next 2 years. You're going to always have an SEC, ACC, so that's 3. Bill Self has got a similar type of schedule, but he's going to add 2-3 more power conference teams. Dennis Gates feels that he goes into SEC play, that the first 4 games they play are all high-level net ranking games. So his strength of schedule at the end of the SEC season is going to be strong enough, he believes. Now, our good buddy Nate Oates, similar to Bill Self, and they're winning right now, and they'll play Arizona, probably the #1 team next week in Birmingham. Nate Oates says it doesn't matter who we play in a non-conference. If we lose to Purdue or we beat Illinois, those things tell us more about our team going into conference play than if we're 8-1.
Yeah.
So it's 2 different philosophies.
And Oates' point is that I want to figure out what's wrong with our team. Let's fix that, because the conference schedule means more. Missouri opens with Florida at home. They go to Rupp Arena. They go to Oxford against Ole Miss, and then they get Auburn at home.
And here's what I would say about that. If you don't really know your team, you could be 0-4.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Nate Oates has a good comfort level that he knows what his team has to work on. I'll tell you, those Alabama guards are sensational. I watched them practice a couple weeks ago. That Arizona game is going to be outstanding.
You know what stuck out to me when you were previewing that game? You and Boog Shambi will have that call. Here's McDowell to step back. Because you got Arizona #1. Other cases could be made for Michigan.
Yeah.
Duke after that huge win at Breslin yesterday.
Well, you know, about 10 days ago, we thought Gonzaga could be #1.
Yep.
I think it just speaks to the depth of the top of college basketball.
Here's McDowell, routine it, and the mulligan pays off.
And that is going to really, really warm Bill Self's heart, because, again, it's not the defense that he's concerned about. It's where can he find more scoring off his bench, and McDowell's delivering.
Mitchell gets the triple. That's his first 3. And Missouri taking a 30-second timeout.
Well, you take advantage of sitting out for a year. You don't play, and nobody remembers you, and you work on your game. And when you work on your game long enough, it pays off when you do finally get back out on the court.
Now this is a much better offensive performance with their star Darren Peterson on the floor.
Well, let's go back. And there you see some numbers that I don't think is going to warm a Kansas fan's heart. They ended last year struggling. So far this year without Peterson, struggle.
Goodness.
What a block. What a block.
That was an aggressive take, but Dunga with a couple follow-ups couldn't hit. And loose ball.
Nice catch.
It's got a bird on it?
Give me that ball.
Yeah, take it.
No. That was a very nice catch, Tom Hart.
Thank you.
Great block right there.
I can't believe Marco Jackson tried to flush that thing.
You know, did you play wide receiver in high school or something?
I was a skinny tight end. Yeah. Slow wide receiver.
You were not a blocking tight end, but that was a heck of a catch.
Here's Mack. What can Missouri learn over the next 5:20?
Just, grind out a way to keep this game close. And again, it's a road game for them. Find somebody that can get them some easy baskets, which has been hard to do today.
Well, the defense has been
nice tip.
slacking, but Dunga gets the point inside.
And what I was going to tell you earlier is, they played well against Duke. They played reasonably well in Las Vegas, especially the win over Tennessee.
Certainly.
They played pretty well for 30 minutes against UConn. And today, right now, they're clearly the better team, and we've only seen Darren Peterson for half the game.
Well, going back to that stat we threw up there, just being basically a 500 team over the last handful of games, everyone gauge it. What's the difference in what Bill Self had versus what he has?
Well, first of all, the talent level on the court for Kansas the last couple of years is not what people are used to. Last year and this year. So they're just going to hope that the one great player they have can make everybody better this year. And by the way, they have a very good recruiting class coming next year. Personally, I don't think they've done a great job in the transfer portal. You know, you got Jaden Dawson over there from Loyola, who I saw on the NIT. He hasn't gone off the bench today. Council's good, not great. Trey White's solid, but the talent level here, and again, it's an epidemic in college basketball with all the transfers. I don't think the talent level is what people are used to. Good job by White right there, baiting the foul.
Missouri has a sensational recruiting class coming in. 3 top 100 players right now, according to ESPN, the #1 recruiting class in the country. Kansas also top 5.
Yeah, if you're Missouri, you're going to love Jason Crow Jr. from LA. He's a scoring machine. Bill Self's got a tremendous point guard, Taylon Kinney, coming in from Cincinnati. They're going to have to hit the transfer portal hard.
Trey White's working on his second double-double of the season. Coming up 5 Eastern on ESPN and the app, it's freshman Caleb Wilson at number 16 North Carolina hosting Georgetown in Chapel Hill at the Dean Smith Center. How about when Kansas went there earlier this season? They got Dean Smith's letter jacket back. The family presented it to Kansas. It'll be in the museum at Allen Fieldhouse.
No question. Dean Smith was a favorite of all of us young coaches back in the day.
And that 1952 national championship patch on it.
He was responsible for Kansas hiring Roy Williams, I believe, in 1988.
Baseline drive and a foul. Isn't it wild, all the talent that Roy had at Kansas? He couldn't win the big one?
Well, he won the big one enough.
Understood. I'm talking with, this is a Kansas broadcast.
Well, hold on a second now. You know, he took over a program in 1988 that was on probation.
That's right.
After winning the the NCAA title with Danny and the Miracles. Yeah, he did. He had a lot of success here now. Now, I will say this. A lot of people thought it was going to be impossible to replace him. And Bill Self has done an admirable job. So, and I'd say more than admirable.
Hall of Famer, couple titles. Trent Burns checks in for the first time for Mizzou.
I look up to this guy. I really look up to this guy.
You've been sitting on that this whole day?
No. That man's been hurt, surgery. Good to see him out there. 7'5" out of Houston.
Missouri's got one of the tallest teams in college basketball. They're going to the zone again. Trying to disrupt Kansas. It results in a turnover. Here's Barrett. And Mitchell slices his way in to draw the foul. It'll be the 4th on Council. Kansas trying to keep its hands wrapped around this border war game. It's a 69-53 lead for KU.
But good enough that I think it alleviates some of the fears the fans have. Bill Self's got to be happy. They have a week off. I'm going to tell you, they have a very tough game at NC State next week.
Will Wade, the head coach now at NC State. And then 17 points. Let me ask you, the fear from this Kansas fan base, the passion is unequal throughout the country.
Right.
Was it a well-founded fear, or is it conspiracy theory fan base saying, oh my gosh, he's not going to reach his potential with this?
They're fans. You know what fan is short for? Fanatic. Bill Self kept telling them everything's going to be fine. We're going to be cautious. We want to be at 100%. So, no, I don't think there was any reason to worry. The kid's a competitor. He's a great player. He wants to show everybody how good he is. And better that he does it in January and February than against Towson State.
Great zone offense for Kansas. Working inside to Tiller. He's got a baker's dozen.
Well, Tiller's got to play from inside out, not outside in. I'm a big fan of his talent. He's a great kid. He missed all last year, high school with the injury. But, in the old days, we would have said, this kid's going to be like Marcus Morris or Thomas Robinson. Everything's so year to year now, you just don't know.
It doesn't quite throw development out the window, but it does seem to throw the planning for development out the window.
It does. It really does. I mean, it's rare to, Michigan State does it. Purdue does it. Hey, TJ Otzelberger's doing it up at Iowa State.
What a win yesterday. Yeah. How did they do that?
It was, they were the better team, obviously, but there are nights in a season where, I always said this. In fact, I got this from Eddie Sutton. There's 5 nights a year where you play way over your head. And there's 5 nights a year you don't play well. The key is not to waste the 5 nights a year you play way over your head against teams you're going to beat anyway. And some nights you play poorly and beat a team that you're supposed to beat. And the other 30 games is who you are. Yesterday was one of the 5 games where they just played as well as you could ever expect them to play.
As you got deeper into that explanation, you kind of sounded like Nuke Lelouch. Like sometimes you win, sometimes you tie, sometimes. But regardless.
The worst feeling is when you go and play, let's just say Towson State, for example, and you hit 18 threes and you win by 45 and you go, why couldn't we do that against TCU?
Yeah, why couldn't we bank it? Matt Painter said that we got hit by an avalanche. It was tied for the largest loss for a #1 team in AP poll history at home.
How do you explain Gonzaga losing by 40?
Hey, there's your line.
They beat me to it. I saw it coming, but I don't want to give away the play. Bill said wait till the last minute.
Barrett strip. Now after the next 2 minutes and after Frank can break down this lob.
Yeah, here we go. Watch this. Against the zone, you always want to. They didn't even have to screen there. Usually you screen the big guy, but watch this little pass to the top. Easy play. Been in the playbook for 23 years.
So since this rivalry got renewed 5 years ago, you've done a handful of these games with me. The first one at Allen Fieldhouse was a Kansas beatdown. The emotion was real in the building that day, both from the players and the fans as Cruz splashes one down. I think you would agree that from an energy level, this building just hasn't brought it today. A noon start on a Sunday certainly doesn't help.
Well,
the question is, in the Chiefs play later tonight. The question is, does this game fit into Kansas's long-term plans? Dennis Gates emphatically said it fits into his plans at Missouri.
Well,
and if so, then can it be played strictly on campus, or is that a big deal? Another dunk for KU. This is Trey White, who's got 21 now.
Keep in mind, in 2012, Bill was adamant when Missouri left for the SEC that there was no more rivalry. Obviously, he softened it because of the 6-year deal, and a lot of it has to do with administrators. I just wish and hope that there's room for this home and home every year.
Yeah.
I just think it's good for college basketball. We're losing so many rivalries. This one's historic. Well, not up to us.
Lowest point total of the season for Missouri.
Well, they need to get healthy, and they need to find some more scoring.
Here's Mitchell. And he's going to the free throw line.
Well, you knew that at midcourt.
Yes.
Because in the open court, as we said earlier, he's very, very hard to guard.
Well, these two programs are intertwined going back to 1907, even further than that. You know, Fogg Allen is from just up the road in Jamesport, Missouri.
Yep.
William Quantrill was a school teacher in Lawrence before he burned down your hotel.
Yeah, the Eldridge. I'm a Civil War nut. I know a lot of this stuff here.
You could have left Civil War out of your descriptor, but
no, not the border war. That we put that on ice. I majored in American history.
Yeah.
And we won.
Is that why we you're being a history nut is why we stayed in the oldest hotel in Kansas City? Is that you're responsible for that one?
I would have preferred the Muleback where Clark Stewart used to stay.
That's right. Norm famously said the story was he would never spend a dime in Kansas, and the story was they would stop and eat on the Missouri side or refuel the bus on the Missouri side. He later said it was really Lieutenant Governor put that in my head. It was a politics thing, but there's no better personality. I mean, in a time of great personalities, whether it's Norm or Billy Toms or whomever it was.
Yes. Well, it's a great era for coaches. And Kansas fans got to be pleased, happy, and a little relieved that their young superstar came back today and looked pretty good.
They've got finals this week. They're going to Raleigh to take on Will Wade's NC State team next weekend.
You know, Norm did say, someone asked him how to get to Manhattan, Kansas. He said, go west until you smell it, and then go north until you step in it.
Well, I think that's a line that both fan bases can appreciate tonight.
Yes.
Beats the buzzer. It's Jaden Dawson. And it's been a KU party all up afternoon here at T-Mobile. Boateng with the shot clock off. Great to see these two teams on the same court. They renewed the rivalry on the football side. Johnson with the exclamation point. And Kansas delivered a message today after a poor offensive showing midweek. They come out with an 80-point performance this afternoon. 17 of those belong to the star freshman Darren Peterson. Bill Self now 22-5 all time against Missouri. Plenty great basketball coming your way. We'll get you to Fort Worth for LSU and Texas Tech. For Fran Fraschilla, I'm Tom Hart. So long from Kansas City. KU wins the border war. A 20-point victory for the Jayhawks. To Fort Worth, here's Roy Philpott.